Good morning, students. Welcome back to your History and Civics class. We are doing lesson number 10, Composite Culture, the Sufi and the Bhakti movements. Let us see the objectives that we have covered in our previous video. We have studied about the Bhakti movement, the Bhakti reformers, and the impact of the Bhakti movement. Try to answer these important terms. Number 1, cult. Number 2, reformers. Number 3, disciple. Number 4th, dohas. Number 5th, transmigration. And vernacular literature. Children, you all should know these cross questions. Number 1, what is meant by bhakti? Number 2, explain any two causes of the rise of the bhakti movement. Number 3, give any two principles of the bhakti movement. Next, name any two reformers of the bhakti movement. Mention any two effects of the bhakti movement. And why were the common masses attracted towards the bhakti saints? In this video, we will study about the influence of Christianity and the impact of Christianity in India. But before that, let us see the important terms. Number 1, Renaissance. The word Renaissance means rebirth or the revival of the study of the Greek and the Roman classics. Number 2, Reformation. Reformation was a revolt against the conventions. It helped in replacing the age of blind faith by the age of reason. Next, preacher, a person who gives religious speech. Gospel, one of the 4 books in the Bible that describe the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. Next, canonization, the process for being named a saint in the Catholic Church. Christianity in India is the 3rd largest religion after Hinduism and Islam, with approximately 31.9 million followers, constituting 2.3% of India's population. History of it is widely believed that Saint Thomas, the disciple of Jesus, first introduced the Christian faith to India nearly 2000 years ago. The Portuguese began to settle in Goa from 1498. In 1542, an important Portuguese preacher, Francis Xavier, arrived and the work of the Roman Catholics began in earnest. Saint Francis Xavier was born in April 7, 1506 in Spain. He was the greatest Roman Catholic missionary of modern times who was instrumental in the establishment of Christianity in India. Francis grew up at Xavier and received his early education there. In 1525, he journeyed to the University of Paris, the theological center of Europe, to begin his studies. He had undergone a profound religious conversion and was then gathering about himself a group of men who shared his ideals. Francis also performed the spiritual exercises, a series of meditations lasting about 30 days. Mission to India. Xavier arrived in Goa, India on May 6, 1542. He came to be admired in that country for his ability to live and work side by side with the poor. Seeking more converts, Xavier continued to travel. His stops included Ceylon, the Banda Islands, and the Malay Peninsula. Situated in Old Goa, the Basilica of Bom Jesus was built in 1605 AD. The basilica is home to the tomb and mortal remains of Saint Francis Xavier. Page number 204, reading of Francis Xavier 1506 to 1552 CE. Francis Xavier was an important Portuguese preacher. Preacher means a person who gives religious speech, who traveled to many countries including India and Southeast Asia and won a great many Christian converts. Converts means a person who has changed her or his religion. At every step, he had to face many difficulties, but he did not lose heart, and till his death, he preached the Christian religion to such a wider area which no Christian preacher could do. The body of this saint still lies in Bom Jesus Church in Goa. Giving an estimate of his work, one critic remarks, critic means a person who says what is bad or wrong with somebody. It is truly a matter of wonder that one man, in the short space of 10 years, could have visited so many countries, traversed so many seas. Traversed means travel through an area. preached the gospel, one of the 4 books in the Bible that describes the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, to so many nations and converted so many people. The incomparable apostolic. Apostolic means it refers to the apostles, the earliest followers of Jesus who were sent out to spread the Christian faith. Zeal, which animated him, and the stupendous miracles which God wrought through him explain this marvel which has no equal elsewhere. The list of the principal miracles may be found in the bull canonization, which means the process for being named a saint in the Catholic Church. Saint Francis Xavier is considered the greatest missionary since the time of the apostles, and the zeal he displayed, zeal means great energy, the wonderful miracles he performed, and the great number of souls he brought to the light of true faith entitle him to this distinction. He was canonized with Saint Ignatius in 1622, although on account of the death of Gregory XV, the bull of canonization was not published until the following year. Robert D Nobili. When Robert D Nobili was born in Italy in 1577, nobody in his family could have guessed that the boy would spend most of his life oceans away, dressed as a sannyasi. As the eldest son of his house, Robert was expected to carry on the line, but by his adolescence had already quarrelled with his parents, announcing his desire to serve the Catholic Church. He fled in disguise to Naples and obtained a theological education before setting sail in 1604 for India. He got a nickname, the White Brahmin. He used a novel method of adaptation to preach Christianity, adopting many local customs of India which were, in his view, not contrary to Christianity. D Nobili acquired not only a staggering knowledge of Tamil but also Telugu and Sanskrit. A Brahmin convert even gave him access to the Vedas, and soon he began to live like a native. Page number 205, let us do the reading of the paragraph. Robert D Nobili, 1577 to 1656 CE. He was an Italian Christian missionary who preached the Christian religion in southern India. Missionary is a person sent on a religious mission, especially one sent to promote Christianity in a foreign country. In order to win a large number of converts to Christianity, he adopted many customs of India. He reached Goa on May 20, 1605. He began to dress himself as a sannyasi. Sannyasi means hermit. He learned the Sanskrit and Tamil languages and held dialogue with the Hindu scholars. He wore white dhoti. Dhoti is the traditional Indian dress consisting of a long piece of unstitched cloth for the lower part of the body worn by men, and wooden sandals, and adopted the Indian customs of shaving one's head. He himself composed many works in Sanskrit and Tamil. His adopting the Indian customs of three-string thread. Three-string thread, the sacred thread or janeu, is worn by Hindu boys following a series of rituals and steps. Sandalwood paste on the forehead, tiny tuft, etc. Tiny tuft is a bunch or a cluster of small, usually soft, flexible parts as feather or hairs attached or fixed closely together, were opposed by many Christian missionaries, but the then Christian Pope Gregory XV decided in favor of Robert D Nobili, which greatly enhanced his reputation. He is said to have authored many books on Christianity which led to the popularity of this religion. For example, Preaching Wisdom to the Wise. Father Robert D Nobili died at the ripe age of 79 in January 1656 at the height of his reputation. Impact of Christianity. The good works carried out by missionaries and Christians have always been understood to be an expression of their love and obedience to Jesus. The underlying motivation, of course, was their obligation to proclaim the salvation of God through the Christian faith. Christians were also pioneers in the field of female education in India. Much of this work was taken up by the wives of early missionaries and by single women missionaries. In the 19th century, the commonly accepted view in India was that formal education was not for women of any kind, much less for those for respectable families. Yet, by 1900, an impressive number of schools and colleges had been opened in major cities, towns, and even villages throughout India for both men and women. Christians also went to live and work among the tribal groups. Page number 205, let us do the reading of the last topic of the lesson, Impact of Christian Missionaries. The missionaries, to understand the Indian language, brought out grammar and dictionaries of the Indian languages. Besides working in language and literature, they began teaching Western music in church schools in India. They were the best interpreters of India to the Western world with their popular letters from the mission field. Okay, children, now this is the end of the lesson. Let us see what we have learned in our today's video. We have learned about the influence of Christianity. We have read about Francis Xavier and Robert D Nobili and the impact of Christian missionaries in India. Do the reading of page number 204 and 205. Solve the back exercises including short and long answers. Learn the related terms of the lesson. Till then, thank you so much. Take care. Bye.